ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Love Factory, today's site for the official press conference for Boxer Fight Night on Sky Sports, live this Saturday in Manchester from the AO Arena. We would like to thank our official partners, Bet365, Everlast, Village Hotels, Wow Hydrate, and FCI Markets. Our undercard on Saturday will begin at 5:30 with our main card beginning at 7 o'clock. We have tons of rising talent, established stars, and champions competing at the AO Arena. Our co-main event, Birmingham versus Sheffield, Casey Benjamin versus the undefeated champion Dalton Smith for the British Super Lightweight Championship. Our main event, Saturday, the AO Arena in Manchester. 3 belts will be on the line. First, from Quebec, Canada, the IBF Super Welterweight Champion, Mediev Dicaire, takes on the WBC and the WBO Super Welterweight Champion, Natasha Jonas. And now I will turn it over to the host of our press conference, Savage Dan, who is joined by the CEO of Boxer, Ben Shalom. Dan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Big Mo. Welcome to Manchester. Welcome to what will be a huge fight week and a historic night at the AO Arena on Saturday evening. Natasha Jonas and Marie-Eve Dicaire top the bill, locking horns in a super welterweight world title unification bout, which also has the coveted Ring Magazine belt on the line. Dalton Smith makes his long-awaited Sky debut as he defends his super lightweight title against the dangerous Casey Benjamin. Manchester's very own Brad Ray challenges champion Tyler Denny for the English middleweight title. And then there's the heavyweights. Big Frazer goes head-to-head with the dangerous Camille Sokolowski, and you will not want to miss that one. Vidal Riley, a man who needs no introduction, goes head-to-head in a local derby against fellow Londoner Ross McGuigan. And we also have the Boxer Series champion Dylan Chima, who's always an exciting fight, alongside local talent Clark Smith and Jack Kilgannon. It is going to be a brilliant night of boxing at the AO Arena. An iconic night in an iconic city. I feel like it's your favourite fight city at the moment. Ben, you are Boxer's promoter. Why are you always in Manchester? And why is this such an iconic city for boxing?
Look, it's where it all started for us. 2018, Ultimate Boxer 1. Casey Benjamin was on that bill. And we're back in Manchester. Over 7,000 people already have bought tickets for Saturday night. This is an amazing card. One of our best, one that I'm really looking forward to, one that has competitive fights throughout the card from top to bottom. Unbelievable main event. Natasha Jonas, obviously her rise over the past 12 months has been incredible, and for her to headline now in Manchester, it's a special moment for her third world title. The British title, as you mentioned, what a fight that is. Dalton Smith returns to Sky. It's his debut for Boxer as well, and hopefully many more to come. He's fighting Casey Benjamin, who has been pushing for this fight ever since we started. I think a lot of shine is on Dalton Smith, but this is the fight that Casey Benjamin wanted. As soon as it was ordered, he made sure Mick Hennessy and his team that we put in a strong purse bid and won that fight. So right down the card from Vidal, Brad Ray and Frazer Clarke, all in career-defining fights, career breakthrough fights for them. It's a fantastic card, and I can't wait for Saturday night.
Well, let's get to the fighters. I will start with the cruiserweights. Ross, I will come to you first. You are unbeaten. You're an unknown quantity in many ways, but it is a tall order. Do you have what it takes to beat Vidal Riley?
I've definitely got what it takes, without a shadow of a doubt. I wouldn't have took this opportunity if I didn't feel like that was the situation. I'm under no illusion that Vidal is a good boxer, but I know what I bring to the table, what I can do in the ring, who I train with, how I prepare, and rest assured, when we get in that ring on Saturday, he will know who I am as well.
You've had 4 weeks notice for this fight, but you were coming off another fight 3 weeks before that, so you were already ready and rolling into your next camp. Does that give you an advantage, knowing that you're already fight fit? Are you just there waiting for the phone to ring?
wouldn't say an advantage as such, but I am always in the gym, and obviously coming off a previous fight a few weeks before, it does help. Vidal would have probably had more time than me knowing his actual date from the beginning, so I wouldn't say there's advantage, but it definitely helps to kickstart the camp that I needed with the little time that I had.
There's been no real animosity between you, but you've said that you want to press the action, you want to take Vidal to a place he's never been before. How do you do that?
Yeah, Vidal's he's a humble guy. He hasn't said anything to me. I treat others how I want to be treated, and I dish out what I get. So yeah, there's no need for animosity. But this is boxing. We're both going to get in the ring and want to inflict punishment on each other. And yeah, I feel like what I bring to the table, he hasn't experienced yet, and he hasn't experienced it for a long time. And yeah, I'm 100% coming with everything. This is a big opportunity for me, boxing on Sky and Boxer, and I'm definitely looking to take it with both hands.
Vidal, your first, it's an unbeaten opponent. Is this your toughest test today?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, he's an undefeated opponent, so his mentality is, I've not lost before. That makes you do things, it makes you try harder. I understand that, but skill-wise, he's not my best opponent to date. But it's for me to show on Saturday night.
We watched your live workout. Clear to see, you're sharp, got power in both hands. You got an incredible stoppage last time at the AO Arena. Looking for something similar on Saturday night?
Yeah, definitely. I think since I've started with boxing, and my professional career has really begun. And in February, I got the guy down first round. June, got the guy down first round. So, and these weren't clean hits. So I'm thinking I need to get a clean one Saturday.
You've been called out by the likes of Jake Paul and many others. Is it difficult to keep the blinkers on and to block out all the white noise and focus on the task at hand? You seem very focused on your journey, but does it take much to be able to do that and to block out all the big fights that are there for you?
Doesn't take much at all. When we got the message and Ross's name was there, Ross has been the focus. It's the world that focuses on the other things.
This fight will be streamed on your YouTube. I think that's the first time I've seen that done. 1.2 million subscribers.
Listen, everyone's in for a treat, I guess. I don't think it's been done before. If it has been done, then it's being done again better this time. But make sure, tune into the YouTube channel. You can watch it live. I know Ross will do his best. I'll do mine. And we'll see a good fight.
Ben, it's a cracking fight. Is it a step up for Vidal?
I think it is. I mean, what a fight to start the night. Vidal Riley, if every fighter that we signed was willing to take on anything that was put in front of them, any test, to take on, when you're fighting an unbeaten fighter, it's very, very hard to, to know what they're going to come with, to know what level they're really going to perform at. And there was no hesitation when Ross's name was mentioned, and I'm sure that he's going to bring it on Saturday night. I know how I spoke to Steve Goodwin. They think he's a very, very good fighter, and he's had some notable wins in the amateur scene as well. He's turned pro late, and he's coming to cause an upset. But Vidal Riley, for me, is going right to the top of this division, and this is a step on a big stage that he wants to take early on in his career, and credit to him.
It will definitely be an exciting one. Next, let's go to the middleweights. Brad Ray takes on Tyler Denny for his English title. Tyler, I will come to you first. You've said that you don't just want to nick rounds, that you want to win them convincingly against Brad. How do you go about doing that?
Just do myself, man. I think I'm going to have to, being away in Manchester against a guy from Manchester. I'm expecting the crowd and stuff, and but I think if I perform the way I know I can, I'll come out with a victory. So I'll just be myself and get the win, keep hold of the belt, and that's it, man.
You're making a bit of a habit of going on the road and fighting champions. You fought Wilson Bent in Coventry, and now you're fighting Brad Ray in Manchester. Is that part of your personality? You want to go into the Lions Den and do it?
I don't think I have much choice, to be honest. But I just want to fight. So you throw me a fight, I'll take the fight. It's simple as that. Like you said, my last two was against River. I fought Derek Azazi before that. That was like a neutral at Sheffield. I fought Udofia in London, and I'm at Manchester now. So I'm as game as they come, man. And I don't want to be known just for being game. I want to fulfil my ability, and I think that's above English level. But saying that, I think Brad's above English level as well, and it's a great fight, man. I've got a lot of respect for him, but I'm here to do the business. Brad is the home fighter, but you are the champion. Do you feel like you are not being treated or talked about as though you are the champion? I'm not really asked, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? I think so, but because Brad signed up with Sky, and boxing, it's a boxing event, they're going to back their guy, which, you got to respect them for doing that. But at the end of the day, I'm the champion, and I'm here to show why I'm the champion and why I'll still be the champion come Saturday night. Brad, you are the local lad. You've had a brilliant win in February at the AO as well. Do you relish fighting in front of a home crowd?
Yeah, 100%. Means the world to me to fight at Manchester Arena. The arena that I've been going to since I was a little kid. Watching some of the fighters I used to look up to. And now it's me in there, and it's consistent. It's been my third time fighting at the arena, and hopefully I can make a habit of it.
Saturday night you have the opportunity to win the first major title of your career up against a rough and rugged opponent. What do you have to do to get the win against him? It's a real clash of styles.
Yeah, I think it's a great clash of styles. Tyler's a very, very good fighter, and as he's just said there, I think he's above English level. I think this is a great fight for the English title, but I've put the work in the gym, and whatever he brings, I'm confident that we're going to get the win. And that title's, it's not just coming on holiday to Manchester, it'll be staying here.
You've been in the gym, leaving no stone unturned. You've also been working with Ricky Hatton. He's looking good. How has that motivated you? How has that helped you to kick on in this camp?
Yeah, it's been class, sharing a camp with Rick. Obviously, great idea from the AO Arena to put both shows on the same night. And it's been good. We've gone through the camp together. We've been getting in together with kind of just one-to-one sessions, me, him and my coach Blaine. So yeah, it's been good, and he's looking well. He's looking well. Gives me that extra little push. I give him that extra push, and hopefully it's going to be two good performances on Saturday.
Finally, can I push you for a prediction on your fight on Saturday night?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how I win, but that title staying in Manchester, like I said, just here to get the win and get my hand raised.
Ben, English title fights, they're always good.
They're always good.
Yeah.
They're always good. I think with Brad, we're always looking for that next Manchester star. There's nothing that would mean more to me than to be able to bring it through with Jack Cattrall and Brad Ray and even Clark Smith. We look at Ricky on the top of the bill. I know Anthony Croller's going to be there. I remember going to his nights, and Brad will remember as well. And that's what it's about in this city. And Brad Ray is a local hero now. I think a lot of people are looking at him, 24 years old, going through the ranks at the moment. Started with us on October the 16th last year in a war against Jez Smith, and has just continued to build and build and build. And he wants the big fights, and he wanted that English title. And even though it's Tyler Denny, who we've seen in an absolute war with River Wilson Bent last time and came through really well, I think he's a fan-friendly fighter. He's a great fighter to watch. It's got a great fight written all over it. But this is Brad's time, I believe, and this is his time at the Manchester Arena, and this is where we see him take his career to the next level.
Next is heavyweight business. Fraser, I will come to you next. I think it's fair to say you've been frustrated with a couple of your opponents. There can be absolutely no complaints about Camille Sokolowski.
Not at all, but first of all, you're doing a great job, Dan. I think Adam Smith needs to be careful because his job might have gone. But yeah, this is the fight that, we sort of spoke about this fight from the beginning of my career. And now we've got it here. An opponent which I respect, and I've paid him that respect by, training properly, efficiently, and I'm prepared for, a good version of Camille Sokolowski.
Is that a big part of this as well? Camille is dangerous. Everybody knows that. He's had 6 weeks' notice for this fight, which is about 5 weeks more than he usually has for fights. Is this a real step up for you?
It's a step up, yeah, 100%. if I'm as good as I think I am, and I'm as good as you guys have, bought into me, then I should deal with this no problem. But I always say with these guys, if I show up half-hearted, it can upset you, it can make you look silly. But this is about me showing that I'm a professional. I'm not here to just get myself through this fight. I'm here to do a job, and you'll see that.
In Bournemouth, Bracamonte tried to put it on you a little bit. He wanted to force the issue, and we all know how that ended. Do you feel like the more a fighter tries to put it on you, the better the performance from Frazer Clarke?
The better the opponent, the better Frazer Clarke. It's really that simple. Bracamonte tried to put it on me, and I landed the left hook. I know that Camille is very tough, very strong, and isn't going to go away easy, but I feel like with my skill set, my power, and my intentions, then, I'll do the correct job, and winning's everything. Winning's important. But I always say with prospects, when I'm looking at prospects, it's how you deal with these people. So, we'll see on Saturday night. I'm the real deal, let me tell you that.
Ben, heavyweight fights are always fun, but this has the makings of an absolute barnstormer.
Yeah, it's the heavyweight division. I've never seen so much scrutiny and attention on a prospect as I've seen with Fraser. It's incredible. People want to see him in the big fights. He's a massive personality now in the sport. Obviously been doing a lot of punditry work on Sky as well, but he wants to do his talking in the ring, and this is the fight that he wants. He wants to move quickly. He wants the big fights, and obviously 4 fights in to be fighting Camille Sokolowski in a tough fight with 8 weeks' notice. We wanted to make sure Camille had all the time in the world to prepare for this. This is a good moment for Fraser. This is him under the bright lights in a proper fight, showing what he can do, and I can't wait for it.
A lot of people saying that could be fight of the night, and if it's not that, it could definitely be this one. Chief support is the super lightweights, and it's British title business. Casey Benjamin takes on Dalton Smith. Casey, I'll come to you. Saturday night is a huge opportunity against a very dangerous Dalton Smith. What do you make of the fight?
I think it's a good fight. Obviously, Dalton's a good fighter. He's got good ring IQ, but I think that I have what it takes to beat him.
You've actually been looking at this fight for quite some time. I remember speaking to one of your stablemates earlier this year, and you targeted Dalton Smith, which is something not many people do. What do you see in his game that you can exploit?
I think that was just due to it was the biggest fight out there for me, and I always want to be in big fights. I feel like me beating Dalton, that would just, set me up for big things.
You've campaigned at 147, you're now down at super lightweight. Do you feel like your power is better down there? You've said that you think you'll be the first person to really test Dalton's chin.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I've carried my power down to this way, and I feel stronger in the sense of my opponents are the same size as me now, rather than fighting bigger people at 147. But yeah, I think I'll definitely test Dalton.
You're both smart, thinking fighters. Are you expecting more of a chess match than perhaps the more pressure fighting than? Are you expecting more of a chess match?
I ain't really going in expecting anything. I've watched Dalton fight, and I feel like the way he fights, I feel like I can beat him. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely going to bring something good.
You've said Dalton will be your toughest test. Do you feel like you'll be his toughest test?
Oh yeah, 100%. He'll be my toughest test, and I'll be his toughest test. So it just makes for a great fight.
Dalton, do you agree? Is Casey your best opponent to date?
We'll find out Saturday, won't we? But no, respect's there. We're in the gentleman's sport, and Casey's got himself into this mandatory position. Obviously, I won the belt back in August, and this is a golden ticket fight for Casey, and he's coming 100% to beat me. Because I always said, the eyes, what's on me now, that red dot on the middle of my forehead gets bigger and bigger, and these people who are challenging me now, you know, that can propel their careers if they beat me. So, you know, they're coming with, you know, intentions to, you know, derail the Dalton Smith train.
Boxing is all about timing. Do you think this is too big of a jump for Casey too soon?
You know, it shouldn't be. He's had many more fights for me, and you know, Casey should be in these big fights. And you know, I just think that's what's going to be the difference on Saturday. You know, I'm 13 fights in, and you know, boxed at a much higher level, and you know, come through with flying colours. But you know, taking nothing away from Casey, he's a great fighter. You know, he can mix it up. He can go on the front foot, on the back foot. So yeah, we're in for a very good fight Saturday.
You've got a 83% KO ratio. Casey's talked about being able to test your chin, but what do you think happens when you land a big one on him?
You know, we're in professional boxing, and whoever gets it with an 8-ounce glove, it's going to hurt, isn't it? But you know, I don't seem to get it nowhere near as much as Casey. So you know, the odds are, you know, Casey gets it more than me, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a fight, and if anyone gets it with 8-ounce gloves, it's going to hurt. But you know, we'll see on Saturday.
This will be your first defence of the British title. Was the plan always to win it and then win it outright?
Yeah, it was funny because obviously I won it back in August when I beat Sam O'Mason, and I think you get so many days to defend it against the mandatory, which we knew Casey was there. You know, and then there was rumours going around and think, oh, Dalton's going to vacate and move on. It's like, no, we knew if we won the belt, we was vacating against Casey. So nothing got sprung up on us. We were straight back in the gym because we knew the date was going to come up, and you know, we knew we was facing Casey next. Looking at the division as a whole, domestically and at world level, there are some huge fights out there. We've seen your name regularly put next to the likes of Ryan Garcia and all the other world champions. Are they the kind of fights that you're looking at and that are on the horizon for you? Of course, you know, those are the fights what are paying the bills back home. So, you know, they're the big fights. But, you know, you can't take the eye off the ball. I've got, you know, I'm in a real fight on Saturday. I can't take my eye off the ball, and, you know, I've got to do it in style.
Ben, this is a real fight, a British title dust-up. I think a lot of people were surprised when you won the purse bid for this fight.
Yeah, I know. Fair play to Dalton, because in all seriousness, he's not our fighter, but he wanted to win the belt outright, and he wanted to take that opportunity, and I think that's what we need in British boxing, even at that British level, is the guys coming together and putting it on the line. And as I said before, this was the fight that Casey always wanted, so it was an easy decision for him. Don't overlook Casey Benjamin. He really is an unbeaten fighter. He obviously lost in a tournament in a 3-round, 3-minute format, which anything can happen in, but he's developed his career really nicely now with Soggy and John Pegg, and this is their time, they believe. But Dalton's biggest test on Saturday night is going to be great to see how he performs. I think that division in the UK is really, really strong, even obviously in the world, but in the UK with Jack Cattrall and Josh Taylor hopefully being announced very soon. Adam Azim, who we signed this week, almost reminds me of when Amir Khan and Kell Brook were starting out, and there's going to be that comparison throughout their careers, I think, if they keep coming through the levels. So it's a great fight, but I really think people can't undermine Casey Benjamin and what he's going to bring to the table on Saturday night.
Couldn't agree more. Lastly, we have top of the bill. Natasha Jonas aims to become a world champion for the 3rd time in 2022. What a year. But standing in her path is Marie-Eve Dicaire. Marie, pleasure to have you here. You've said that absolutely nothing will stop you getting the win on Saturday night.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, thank you, Boxer, and thank you, Giro Pivot Michel, for having this event being held on, because back then, when I was a kid, like in the 90s, I was telling everybody, one day I'm going to be a professional athlete. I'm going to make a living out of my sport. And everybody laughed at it. And now, here we are, the main event at the AO Arena. So great job, because little girl dreamed of that, and now it came true. So it was my dream when I was a kid, and there's nothing that's going to stop me for getting the win Saturday night.
You are naturally bigger than Tasha. Do you feel like that is going to be a big telling sign in the fight? Do you feel like you're going to have to use your size in order to beat her?
Are you saying I'm fat?
Definitely not. I know better than that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a natural 154 pounds. So clearly, we know we got the weight and the height advantage. We know Natasha is a smart fighter. We know she's make some adjustment. It's not her first fight at 154, so clearly we don't take it for granted. We've been doing our homework. We've been working out in the gym, working out with Southpaw, which is a really good thing because that's going to be both different for both fighters. But clearly, we know I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and we know how we're going to take advantage of this.
You only have one blemish on your record, and it is to Claressa Shields. Are you looking down the line and looking at a potential rematch?
You know what's funny? There's a fight Saturday. To me, that all it matters. My focus is only on the fight Saturday. I've been dreaming, sleeping, eating, boxing, Natasha Jonas. I think that's going to be something empty in my life when I'm going to stop watching footage of Natasha. So to me, that's all it matters. It's the fight Saturday. Sunday, it's going to be a different game. Sunday, we're going to have a new idea, a new clue of what's going to be next for me. But from now, the only focus is on Saturday.
Natasha's on a hot streak at the moment. She's in the form of her life. What are you going to be able to do that will negate what she does?
Well, that's funny because she's in the shape of life, but I am too. We've been able to train with no injuries, with a lot of rest. I know Natasha has been having a busy year. For us, it's all the opposite. We've been able to rest. We've been able to heal some injuries. I've been able to miss boxing because from the beginning of my career, I could do fights over and over, and then you just set on the automatic pilot. And now I had time to miss boxing and to realize how I need boxing in my life. No boxing, no life. And that's pretty dangerous.
Natasha, what a year you've had. 4 fights in 12 months, 3 potential world titles. Could you have written it better yourself?
No, I think it's been a year in boxing that everyone craves. You know, I've always said that an active Natasha is a dangerous one. And thanks to Ben and thanks to Sky, they've made that dream come true and made it possible.
Have you seen holes and flaws in Marie's game that you feel like you can exploit?
Yeah, obviously you watch things, but I don't take too much from, you know, the Claressa loss. Obviously the Southpaw versus Southpaw is a different thing, and, you know, styles make fights, but there's definitely things that we've worked on in the gym that we've seen. And, you know, Joe's probably one of the most meticulous people when it comes to sorting out game tactics and plans, and I just feel that whatever she brings, and it hopefully is the best version of her that we're prepared for.
The Ring Magazine belt is one of the most prestigious belts you can fight for. It's not always available. What does it mean to be able to fight for it?
Yeah, it's one of them belts, like the two I've got in front of me, that you know, it's up there, and it's a lovely belt to look at. It's a lovely belt to have, and it's, you know, it's the number 1 versus the number 2, and it settles the score. So to have that belt, you know, confirm not just to me but to everyone there that I'm the top of the division.
You are at the top of the division now, the super welterweight division. You are the money fight. You are the big ones. You call the shots. How many other options do you have after this fight if you get past Marie? And what ones are you looking at?
Very similar to herself. I don't look past Saturday. There's no point, because if Saturday doesn't go right, then the options close again and I'm back to square one. So I'm just focusing on what's in front of me and getting that out the way. And then I might even have a holiday after that. I might. But yeah, it's been a busy year. I'm thankful and grateful, and I just want to finish it off with a bang.
You touched on it briefly there, Southpaw against Southpaw. What differences and what changes are you going to have to make to be able to make up that height and reach advantage?
I've actually, for the first time in a very long time, really enjoyed this camp. You know, Southpaw, we don't, in the amateurs, you never really train for the Southpaw versus Southpaw because there's very few of them. So you never get a whole camp specifically to learn on a style. And for this camp, it's been so enjoyable because I've learned and I've added things to my repertoire, and I think, yeah, I just want to go out there and show it on Saturday, and it's been really enjoyable for me.
Ben, does Natasha's year highlight what can happen when a fighter and a promoter pull in the same direction and completely commit?
Yeah, I think it takes everyone to commit. Every fighter needs to be active to perform at their best. There's no secret about that. And it's gone from strength to strength. First of all, thank you to Yvonne Michelle. Thank you to Alexandra for being able to make this fight, this unification, this Ring Magazine belt. It's a big fight. It's the biggest that Tasha's had this year. It's the hardest fight. It's a first southpaw, I think, you've faced. It's going to be a tough test. Make no mistake about it. I think to be here fighting for a third world title, even if you'd said to me at the start of the year that could happen, I wouldn't have believed you. So we've already won, but we want to take it to the next level now. As you said, Tasha wants to be the money fight in the division. She wants the big names. She wants to fight at 147 again. She wants to fight Katie Taylor again, but she has to come through Saturday night, and it is a tough test. And Marie Dicaire, from listening to her as well, this is her moment, and she's extremely confident. What it is great to see is, you know, we're 2-3 weeks on from Shields Marshall that did the biggest viewing figures we've ever done on Sky, and no one's even questioning why we've got this fight main event. Of course, it's the main event. It's a unification with two top athletes at the top of the game, with everything on the line. And yeah, it's another big moment for Tasha to top off what will be, hopefully, a historic year.
I think there are some questions in the crowd for Marie.
Jean-François Chabot from Radio-Canada Montreal. Thank you for the opportunity. Question in French to Marie-Ève. Marie-Ève, jusqu'à quel point ce qui se passe en ce moment, tu l'avais déjà prévisualisé dans ta tête? Et à quel genre de situation penses-tu être confronté pour empêcher Natasha de compléter son tour du chapeau?
This is now the time we test your French lesson. Who remembered French from school? You had French lessons in school? Yeah, nobody did, eh? So we're going to speak behind your back. C'est quelque chose que j'ai toujours rêvé. Tu sais, on est petit, puis des fois on se voit jouer dans la Ligue nationale. Des fois on fait des trucs, puis on commente les événements comme si on était à la télé, puis on regarde nos idoles à l'écran, puis on se dit un jour ça va être nous. Puis toute ma vie, c'est ce que j'ai toujours vu, c'est ce que j'ai toujours voulu réaliser. Et moi, je suis une fille d'action, donc en ce moment, c'est ce qu'on a fait. On a juste mis toutes les pièces du puzzle en place pour concrétiser ce grand rêve-là. Puis depuis qu'on est arrivé, depuis le début de ce camp d'entraînement, je vis à fond chaque instant de ça. Puis la fin que j'ai imaginée est tellement joyeuse. J'espère que vous allez être là samedi pour la regarder.
Merci, thank you very much.
For everyone that got the A in GCSE French, I'm sure we all understood. That concludes our press conference. Marie, any final words to Tasha?
Well, no, actually, I'm really, really thrilled to face Natasha. I know she's been doing a lot for women boxing here in Great Britain. She's been one of the first boxers to go to the Olympics. She's been opening the doors. So to me, it's a privilege to face her here in her hometown. So I'm happy she's in the shape of her life. I'm in the shape of my life. So we're going to have the greatest matchup in history. And I think boxing fans are going to love it and are going to ask even more.
Tasha, anything from you?
No, just the same, just to replicate that. I appreciate travelling over here, coming in the best shape of her life. And yeah, may the best woman win on Saturday.
Ben, I'll end it with you. Tasha's able to go to the world time and time again. She doesn't look a day over 28, let alone 38. What are you expecting on Saturday night?
Look, it's a top fight to top the bill, but it's an incredible card. I think from top to bottom, thank you to the fighters. Everyone's putting it on the line on Saturday night. Everyone's taking a risk. Everyone's stepping in there and they're fighting to develop their careers. I think it's going to be a huge night in Manchester. Of course, Ricky Hatton and the event will follow. It's a massive atmosphere in there. As I say, over 7,000 tickets sold already. A great card on a great night in a great city, and I can't wait.
Remaining tickets available at boxer.com, at Boxer across all social media platforms. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to have our and the Ricky Hatton press conference will be beginning roughly after 2 o'clock.
Johnny, are you going to translate for us what Marie said? It's just, no. I'm not even going to try and hustle through that. No, but she's come across here very confident, knows what the job is in hand. She's been champion before. You look at the size difference of the two of them now.
How do you think that will come into play?
Oh, massively, because Dicaire likes to have a tear up as well. And even though you look at a loss to Shields, she actually pushed Shields hard to get that win. And I think this is going to be one of those fights. She's the naturally bigger fighter. She's the one that's been there before. She's still hungry. She's still young enough and fresh enough to still give Natasha kittens.
It's certainly going to be an interesting one. We talk about the confidence, though, of Natasha, and hopefully we'll be able to grab a word with her in a short while. But she seems to have had, like she said, the best camp of her career so far. Do you think that is because there is that confidence there? You're a lot calmer, you're a lot more confident. Could that be the fact?
Without a doubt, success breeds success. And plus, you're looking at the great fights we've seen with Clarissa and Savannah. Katie Taylor was out there, so it inspired so many other fighters coming through, and Natasha was that fighter that put female boxing as far as UK is concerned on the map in the Olympics. So she wants to make sure she's well and truly in that party. So at this stage, you've got no excuse to be coming in ill-prepared. And so that's why camp for this. Once you know you're on. I just think now, if you're fortunate to be a fighter that you've had weeks' notice, months' notice for a fight, you have no excuse to come in underprepared.
This is Dicaire's first fight outside of
second one
outside of Canada, but coming into Manchester Arena, we know what kind of a lion's den that can be. Do you think she'll take it in a stride? Do you think that will bother her at all?
I think any sportsman or woman coming to the UK, experiencing for the first time British fans, will be intimidated by them. I can remember Ricky Hatton going out to Vegas and him obviously taking half of Manchester out there. The security just were terrified. They were singing, they were cheering, they were booing. They walked in packs. And here in Manchester, I think Dicaire's going to experience a lot of that, where she sees the support, especially for women's boxing here. It'll be something very, very new for her. I think when she boxed Clarissa, it was in Flint, in Clarissa's hometown. So she knew what it's like having to be the away fighter. But the UK is very, very different.
I think Dicaire's got her heels on as well, so that's not helping with the height, is it?
Yeah, but you know what? She's come to for business, dressed for the job. No nonsense at all. So good on her.
Very much all smiles right now, but it will be a different story on Saturday night between these two.
If you go on YouTube and watch Dicaire's fights and watch how she fights, don't let looks deceive you, because she likes to have a tear up. She likes to get stuck in. She likes to fight. So she'll be all smiles, but this is business, and she'll inspire so many others coming through.
What goes through your mind right now? What do you think's going through theirs?
Well, this is the soft side of it. When we get to the weigh-in tomorrow, once the weigh-in's done, the next time you see that opponent, you're going to be preparing to punch each other's face in. But all the hard work's been done now. This is the mental side of it. So it's your chance to put an impression. Dicaire's come dressed as though she's going for out to dinner. She's thinking, you know what, this is me. I've come here to do a job.
She looks very elegant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's done the right thing to say, this is my business. This is what I'm doing. So right frame of mind.
Having a few exchanges. Natasha's back in the venue where, of course, she won her world title the third time of asking. That was on the Brooke Khan undercard, wasn't it? Yeah. Unified in early September this year. There's a lot on the line for Tasha. A lot to gain, but a lot on the line.
Yes, and you know what? This is. She's had so much success here. She's used to that success, but she's also used to seeing the turn of the tide, where she was the sweetheart of the Olympics. Then when she lost it, the public's perception of her as a fighter slipped away. So they expected Terry Harper to walk through her. Then again, she redeemed herself, and now she redeemed herself twice, 3 times over, capturing a world title. And now again, she's in a tough fight. She knows it's a tough one. But the one thing about Natasha is she knows she's got a lot of fire under the bonnet.
I know you're looking forward to this one, Johnny. The British title always brings out something extra in the fighters, doesn't it?
Because this is the fight that gets you out of the traps. If you're a domestic fighter and you fight for the British title, you know if you pick that up, your dream goes on. You've got a chance to box outside the UK and to box for Commonwealth, box for European, be respected on a world scale. And some fighters, very few, have never boxed. Very few successful world champions from the UK haven't boxed for British title. And you speak to them afterwards, they wish they did because it's a great belt to have. But this is doing it this way, especially for Dalton Smith, is the traditional way. I hope he makes his 3 defences of it.
What about Casey Benjamin though? He's unbeaten in 13. He has that momentum as well with him. What kind of problems do you think he will pose, Dalton Smith?
He's got to smother him. He's got to not let Dalton Smith get into a rhythm. He's got to make him feel uncomfortable. He's got to be as unorthodox as possible and bring him something different. You try and outbox Dalton Smith, he'll walk through you. You try and stand there, have a setup with it. He can bang it, he can punch, and he's proved that.
Well, from the British title to the English middleweight title, Tyler Denny versus Brad Ray. Again, this has all the ingredients, doesn't it, to be a bit of a cracker as well? Yeah, without that. You know what, I met Brad Ray's sister, I think it was, on a holiday, before he even turned professional. And she was raving about him. You'll be watching him. He'll be on Sky. He's a great little fighter. And then, obviously, when I bumped into him, I told him the story. She said, "Yeah, she told me what she told you." And he's. What do you like about him?
I like his attitude. I like his no nonsense. It's business for him. He has ambition. He has dreams. And I like that. I like that with most fighters that get here. But I just like the fact that I was nodded off about him. But you know, his sister was his biggest cheerleader.
It will be quite a special night for him as well, being on the same card, the same show as Ricky Hatton. We know he's been training with him in the gym, and he wants to create basically what Ricky did and have that big fan base in Manchester, which really is something quite special.
His childhood hero, yeah. and how often do you manage to meet your childhood hero and work with him and look up to him and be inspired by him? So all the boxes are ticks for him.
6 rounds at cruiserweight, Vidal Riley, Ross McGuigan. So far, so good, isn't it, for Vidal Riley? What are you looking to see from him on Saturday, though?
You know, Vidal, you hear so much about him, and he's not letting anybody rush him. He's still happy to try and develop and get his stripes under the radar.
He's the ultimate cool customer, though, isn't he?
Completely cool. And so when you don't know what he's doing, but he's doing it, you think, you know, you can see there's potential with Schumann. And I see his style of fight. I think he's got the power, he's got the confidence, he's got the experience. This will be a good fight.
Here he comes. Big Fraser, 6 rounds at heavyweight for him against Camille Sokolowski. As we talked about at the top of the programme, they touched on it in the press conference. This is a test on paper for Big Fraser, but it's a test that he is very much relishing. He wants this.
Sokolowski, if I said it right, is classed as one of those tough journeymen. You do not give a second chance. You give him a second chance and he ruins your career. And that's what he can do. That's what he's good at doing. So it's a good one for him. Test him.
We've got to stand up and talk at the same time, Johnny. Get on the platform. That is because Tasha's coming up as well to join the fun. Tasha, do you want to go in the middle?
Come on, Shorty.
Can't say that.
I wasn't.
How are you feeling? You're looking well. You said it there. This has been one of probably your favourite camps so far. Why is that? What's the difference, do you think?
I think, you know, the stress and the pressure of the Namas has gone. And I just treating everything else as a bonus, and I think just the whole camp of learning something totally different. I mean, like, it's very, very rare that you get a southpaw versus a southpaw. And
is it quite refreshing to get your teeth stuck into something?
It is. It's just like sometimes you're going into the gym and, you know, it's going over the same drills, but this has been a totally different camp. The setup's been different. How you throw your shots and where you place your shots and what shots you throw has been totally different. And to have a whole camp dedicated to that, it's been like, for me, it's just been a bit of a fresh air.
When we spoke to you in London a few weeks back, and I asked you, I said, how did it feel when you unified? Did it change you? You said not particularly, but you must have an air of confidence going into this that has given you that something bit different, that bit extra.
I think it's like Fraser says, all the work that you put in camp gives you that confidence, because you know how hard and what you've put in, and I know how meticulous Jo is, so everything that we've done is preparing for the best version of her. So whatever she comes with, we've got an answer for, and we're going to impose my strengths as well.
Where do you see Dicaire's weaknesses?
There's a few. I don't want to give away too much of the game plan, but I think my speed, my accuracy and my power is something that she hasn't dealt with before.
And we were just touching on the atmosphere in Manchester. You're of course back in the same venue where you won your world title, aren't you? Which is going to be a special night indeed. What do you think it's going to come down to? How do you think Dicaire will deal with what it's going to be like in Manchester? Because as I said to Johnny, it's a bit of a lion's den sometimes.
Yeah, it can be. But I think, as an athlete, you can be as nervous as you want when you're going in, but when the first bell goes, all them nervous jitters go away, and you're just prepared for the fight in hand. And no matter what she feels like going in, when you're in there and in that moment, everything goes back to what you know and what you've learned. So, I don't think it'll affect her that much, if I'm honest. But yeah, hopefully it does for me.
There's a bit of talk, isn't there? Because Dicaire has naturally been around super welter her whole career. As we know with you jumped up a few weights. But this is, you've had a couple of fights now at the weight. You say you feel, the fittest, the most strong you've ever been. Do you think that will be anything in the fight on Saturday night? Do you think the size difference will be anything?
I definitely think I've developed into the weight. Obviously, it's not a weight that's natural to me. But this is my third camp going and being at this weight, and there is improvements. There's always improvements in every camp, otherwise you wouldn't progress. But yeah, I just don't think she's faced anything like me, if I'm honest.
She had her heels on as well. That's cheating.
Have a look a bit taller.
What do you think it's going to come down to then on Saturday?
Just being smart. And just sticking to the game plan and going and just doing what you've done in camp. That's it. That's that easy.
Are we doing the usual trick? Are you coming to work with us afterwards? Because normally you don't get any time to celebrate. We're normally getting you in the...
Superman's just out the shorts, into the dress, and back in with us again.
You do seem very relaxed, very happy, which, as we know, is a dangerous fighter.
Yeah, like I said, I've got nothing to complain about. I smile because I'm happy in, home, in life, and everything. So, I've just got to... The most frustrating part is, even after Bergholt and everyone was saying, that we believe that's one of your best performances, I still feel like there was things that it didn't show and that we specifically done in camp that it didn't. So that was frustrating for me. But now, going in, I want to add that and plus extra what I've learned. So,
are you thinking beyond this fight? Because there's talk of Clarissa said she might come down to your weight. There's a smile there on your face. Are you thinking beyond this one, or is it all eyes on this one?
No, you can't. If this one doesn't go right, none of the others happen. So it has to be all about this one. And I've looked past things before and it didn't work out for me, so now I'm just fully focused on the fight on Saturday.
Which is easier said than done, Johnny, because when there's a bit of noise around a fighter, it's very easy to say I am all eyes on it, but it's not that easy.
It does help you make sure you get this job done right, because you think, I've got to get through this. If I think I'm at that level, then that. Here in the UK, I'm quite sure Clarissa would love to come back to the UK again, especially after the impression she left the last time. And what a fight, what a dragon slayer it would be for Natasha to if this fight came through.
Give us a prediction. What's going to happen?
Oh, I never give predictions, you know me. But it's going to
be. I try every time. One day it's going to work.
Yeah. But no, it's going to be. I've prepared myself for 10 tough, hard rounds, and I'm pretty sure that she's done the same. So may the best woman win, like I said.
You know what, best of luck, Natasha. Very much looking forward to seeing you on Saturday night. We'll see you tomorrow as well. That's it from this undercard presser.